Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people, and welcome back to Astroneer, where today, we're going to look at a lot of things. First, the game has had an update. You can see I'm looking at Astronium in the background. That's one of the things that was updated. I'll show you a picture here in just a minute of what it used to look like. Matter of fact, here it comes. And you can see it was just kind of a dull purple color. But when you mine ammonium, it was always in the ground as like this really shiny green and purple and iridescent. And so they've updated it to look the way it was always supposed to look. They've also added the ability to redeem codes, which is something that right now they're doing just a giveaway randomly for a really cool limited suit that both Commander Hobo and Fat Cubed won. If you were watching my live stream last Friday night, you got to see that suit, and you can go check that out over my Twitch channel if you want to watch that video. It'll only be up for about 2 weeks, though. And they did some multiplayer improvements as well. The multiplayer performance is really, really good now. The frame rate drops and a lot of those issues are just gone. Just far better performance. But the main thing that we're going to do in today's video is go to the core of Desalo. Wait, not Desalo. My bad. Calidor. What I call Arizona. It's just a big desert. And this is going to be a highly edited video, and there's a couple reasons for that. But before I get to those, I want to show you one thing that is new for me in the game. It's always been in the game, but I actually finally unlocked all the achievements in Astroneer with the help of Commander Hobo and Fat Cubed, and that got me the Overachiever suit, which is very gold and chrome and shiny. Maybe a little too shiny for my taste. I'm not a big shiny type person. So here in just a minute, I'll revert back to my regular suit if I can remember which one it is. I had a little bit of trouble remembering. I'm like, wait a minute, which one did I wear? Was it this? Was it that? I wasn't really sure. Yeah, unlike normal Astroneer videos where I record my voiceover at the same time I'm recording the game footage, in this one, I've edited down close to 2 hours of game footage and put it into a video, mainly because this just did not go well. You can see this was I'm at the start. Literally, this ramp already existed, and immediately I drove off the edge. Tried to flip the rover over, it didn't want to flip, and then fell into yet another hole. Where hey, at least now I can get in it and it's upright. I thought, well, I can drive out of there. I was so very, very wrong. The frustrating thing, though, is not only did I encounter just a ton of problems with this, and part of it was my fault. I will readily admit that when I recorded this video, I was very tired. I couldn't sleep that night at all. So I just finally said, screw it, got out of bed, and I'm like, well, I'll just go record a video, and that was a bad idea, because like my coordination was off, my thought patterns are off, because I was exhausted. So a lot of the problems were of my own making. But before I could even record this, I had to deal with the game crashing like 5 or 6 times. And it was way back when I was still on Silva. I'd load in, game would crash. I'd load in, the game would crash. I'd load in, I'd get in to the shuttle to take off. The game would crash. And one of the problems that I have, because I only have one PC, I don't have one PC that captures my footage from another PC that I'm playing the game on, like a lot of people are able to do on YouTube and on Twitch. I don't have a streaming / capture computer. I will eventually, one of these days, but that doesn't exist right now. And hey, if you want to contribute to that, Patreon. But anyways, one of the downsides to the software that I use, which don't get me wrong, I love Bandicam, fantastic software. But if the game crashes, yeah, you can see this was wrought with problems. Yeah. If the game crashes while you're recording, it usually renders that video file garbage, unusable. I can salvage some of the footage, and the footage you're watching is all salvaged footage because I didn't make it through a single recording without the game crashing. I salvaged as much of the footage as I could. Thankfully, you're not going to have to sit through the full, like, over 2 hours that it took me to get to the core of Calidor. Not at all. In this one, though, this is what I ran into at Calidor. I would get in the rover, drill for a few seconds, and immediately another cavern. This one I was going too fast. It was my own fault. Again, I was groggy and not really paying attention. And that's why we plummeted down. So I managed to build a temporary ramp back up to where we fell, and now I'm building a ramp back down to where the rover currently is, because I do eventually want to get these rovers that I take back out of the center of the planet. I don't want to leave them down there permanently. I mean, I could. I have the resources on Silva to just build new rovers all the time, but I don't want to. It's not my goal. I'd really like to accomplish activating all the cores with just a single rover that I repackage and take to another planet each time. It's just, to me, that makes more sense. Eventually, to activate the gateways, we're going to have to use the trailer, but to go to the core, I should always be able to get down with just a single rover. I did eventually get down to where the rover had fallen, and you can see there the makeshift ramp that I had. But now I've got a problem that my ramp is over there at one height, and the rover is down here at a slightly lower level. So I had to wind up building in a platform here and getting everything together so that I could get the rover over to the new ramp, the better ramp. Got that taken care of, got back in, started drilling, and I mean, you're literally seeing the point from where I started drilling from. And look how long it took for me to immediately encounter another cavern. There it is. What was that drilling? It was, I can tell you, because I can hover over in Adobe here, and tell me that was 18 seconds. 18 seconds. So I got back out. This is after about 5 minutes of building yet another ramp that you're looking at. Down to the bottom, get it connected to the floor so that I can go back up, retrieve the rover, which was, you can see how far I have to walk. I had to build this whole ramp down. It was just frustrating all around. And this was all in that day that I was just tired and everything. And by this point, I was just getting really frustrated. So I decided I was going to get the rover down to the floor of this next cavern and then call it a day. The video wasn't going well. I was making mistakes, and I was just frustrated at that point. So that's where I left it off for that particular video. And then it took me 2 more days. 2 more days before I was able to get the game to run and stay stable for me. Long enough to record a video. Actually, in this one, even though it's still highly edited, I didn't have a single crash, which I was really surprised by. And then again, you just saw I drilled for 17 seconds before I had to get out and resort to building a ramp manually on foot all the way down. I mean, the rovers are a great idea for getting down to the core of a planet, but here on Calidor, where it's very thin layers between each huge cavern, it was not very time efficient. I mean, when I have it and when I can drill, man, I make a lot of progress until, of course, you have things like this that have 2 researchables on it that won't despawn. And if I were to try to drive into that, it would glitch out and cause my ramp to get all funky. And so I literally just had to sit here and wait for it to disappear and for those guys to go pop. Start drilling. Notice that, there's an opening to the side. I'll try to go around it. Oh, there's an opening in front of me. Does this mean cavern or does it not mean cavern? Maybe this is just a weird little pocket because I don't see like the whole cavern at first. But then it quickly comes clear that I'm looking at either an extension of the cavern above me or a whole new cavern coming up again. So I thought, well, maybe if I can go around it, maybe I can find a solid wall so that I can at least go down a little bit more. But the thing is, gravity wasn't on my side, and I just kept pulling the rover down to that little opening over to the right where the little researchable fell. Finally got my footing, started drilling again, and realized, yes, indeed, there is another cavern. So I went and parked the rover, built another ramp until I finally got down to yet another solid wall, at least in this case. I never found, like, a floor exactly of this cavern. But I did at least come across what appeared to be a pretty solid wall. So got back in the rover, started drilling again. Now let's see how long we get to drill this time. It's you can tell by the way I phrased that it's not very long at all. It does not take long before, hey, look, another cavern. At least this one's not as deep. I don't have to go as far in building a ramp, but I still have to go park the rover, which there's no real good place for me to park the rover. Yeah, there's just these weird little things like this every once in a while that I have. So built a ramp down to the bottom of the next one, and you can see, man, this planet has resources galore down these lower levels. Here in a minute, there's going to be a point where it's just like constant ammonium and constant quartz, like just unbelievable amounts of them. So much that they were getting under the wheels of the rover and causing it to have problems driving. Yeah, no exaggeration. I thought I was going to fall off the ramp because of resources. But the game crashing is an issue, and it's not isolated. I know that my buddy Fat Cubed is unable to play any of his save games. They all just crash on him. Here's the quartz, by the way. All of his games just crash on him. Even like the live stream file, I sent him the save that I used to live stream from. He can't even get that to work. And we had just played it the night I sent it to him, and he tried it, and it wouldn't work for him. He had just been in that game with me hosting it. I'm running into most of my save files not working. In fact, I had scrapped this whole video originally in my mind and just recorded one that was about 20 minutes long of me saying, well, here we are, new planet, new solar system. But then I decided to go ahead and keep trying, see if I couldn't salvage the footage, at least to get to the core of Calidor, so that we could talk about maybe how do we go forward. So if this is going to be an issue with crashing, I did eventually get in yesterday and was able to play for 2 solid hours, including some footage that you're going to see here at the end. And the game never crashed. The only difference is I had updated my video driver, so I don't know if maybe that was what was causing the crash, was an outdated video driver. I mean, it shouldn't. Because I saw my video driver was months out of date. It just came out 2 weeks ago, the new video driver. So I was only 2 weeks, one version beyond that. And I'm sure that the version that they tested on had to have been on the older drivers. But I updated and it worked, so who knows, that might have been it. Did encounter a few different plants that were trying to kill me, and that slowed me down. At this point, I know we're only like 13 minutes into the video, but you're already looking at over an hour and a half of work. Like I said, by the time I got to the core, it was over 2 hours total of digging and building ramps and driving down there. It was just, it was so frustrating. Since I have a little something solid here in front of me, I decided to go through. But anyways, with the game crashing, I don't know. I'm going to play some more on this save file, this solar system that I've been using. By the way, here is the single longest period of drilling that I got to have in my entire experience with Calidor. This is it. You're watching the whole thing. From this time I turn the drill on to the time I have to turn the drill off. This is the longest I got to drill at one straight stretch. And it's not very long. But yeah, I'm gonna play the game some. I'm gonna record some and see how it goes, to see if I still get crashing, because I can't. If the game is gonna keep crashing, I cannot justify continuing with this save file if, look how far down that one goes, if it's just gonna crash and corrupt the footage over and over again. Because for me to salvage this footage that you're watching has been days of work. And I wasn't even able to get all of it. That's why this video is so highly edited down. This is where I started recording yesterday. I'd been playing for about 20 minutes. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go find the core and then start recording, since the game seems to be stable today. And so there's the outer edge of it. But of course, there's shooter plants everywhere down there. I don't show them all, but they're everywhere. So I can't go straight over. Instead, I have to go like at an angle and across. Which it worked. It just took a while because of how it was all set up. So I just don't know what to do about Astroneer at this point. I love the game, and I don't want to in any way insinuate that I don't. I remain confident that they'll get the issues worked out. That said, This is a major step backwards. And if it were just me or just one other person that I knew of having these save file problems, with the game crashing, unloading an existing save, I wouldn't be too worried about it. But I'm very worried about it because if you go to the System Era bug report forums and to their Discord server and to the Reddit, or to the subreddit for Astroneer, this is a widespread problem. A very widespread problem. I appreciate the multiplayer improvements, but what's the point if I can't then reload that game later and play it again and continue my progress? I mean, this is a game where you're not going to get 100% of your achievements in one playthrough. I mean, you could, I guess, but it's difficult. God, look at all of that ammonium. But so I just don't know what to do. What I'm probably going to do is gather together. Oh, it's graphite. Gather together my footage from the live streams where we not only went to every single core, but we also activated every gateway on every planet, and it was a pain in the ass, but we did it. That's how I got that overachiever suit. That was the final 2 achievements I had. The final one I could do on my own, or that we could do together. But as far as actual gameplay was to unlock every core on every planet. I heard a plant and I can't find it. I eventually move on past it, but I'm looking for him. You can unlock every gateway on every planet, and then that gives you the final achievement, which is to unlock all the achievements in the game. So the final achievement is to unlock all the achievements. So I thought maybe I'll just make like a supercut of just some of the highlights. The only problem is I won't be able to have game audio because, well, there's live stream commentary and us, goofing off and arguing with each other and complaining about the planets and all that. And it would be difficult to hear my commentary for that video on top of us talking in the live stream. There's also the fact that the copy I record is the same resolution and bit rate as I upload to Twitch, which is only 720, so it's not in 1080p like most of my Astroneer videos, and it's at a lower bit rate, so it's not as clear. You don't see as many details. Granted, by the time YouTube gets on with the compression, it looks like crap anyway. But I just don't feel confident in recording that footage of those activities because of the game crash issues. I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna see what I can do. I've got a backup plan. If I can't go forward with Astroneer until they get another big fix out, so be it. I've been wanting to do a Tropico series anyway, so we can move on the Tropico now that it's out of beta. Though it still has crashing issues too, so I don't know that I'd be in any better shape. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean, honestly, at this point, my plans for Astroneer was to show off, some little tips and tricks now and then, and intersperse that with, hey, here I am going to get another core. But honestly, going to the cores, it's kind of repetitious because it's dig, 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 manually get out, manually build a ramp, dig, 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 and then, hey, here's the core. Let's put a thing in it and watch some pretty stuff happen. So it would get a little repetitious. And I wasn't planning on doing all of them. This is a medium. This isn't even a medium thing. Yeah, this is a medium difficulty planet. I was going to do one hard planet and then the very hard planet and be done with cores. I wasn't going to do all the ones that are remaining. But got our explosive powder that Calidor wants for the core. I do want all 3 of the triptychs because one is required to unlock or to power up this gateway engine, which is currently above us or maybe below us. Who knows how gravity works? So I grab all 3 of those because I need one for here to actually awaken Calidor. And then I need to take another one up to the remote satellite that we saw the last time I activated the planet. At least I think we did. So that we can insert that there because that is part of the end game, is also inserting the triptych up on that satellite for each planet. So that's where we're going to go next. Going to head up there. Since it is now active, I can select it. You can see it up there to the top right. Don't know what I was waiting on. Maybe I was trying to capture a screenshot or something. I do sometimes think about, hey, that'd make a great thumbnail, and then wind up editing it so that you don't have to see it. But I don't know. We did something different in this one. So we're here in space where you don't need oxygen. By the way, another thing that happened in this most recent update I don't know if you saw it or not, but once I was off the tethers, I still wasn't using oxygen because the gateway engines now supply oxygen for you. So when you're in there, you don't have to worry about getting tethers in, which it is kind of difficult to get the tethers placed because of how gravity and the camera goes all funky. Just matching up the symbols to find the right one. For Calidor, got it. All the rings are now going. And that takes care of it. All that was left for me to do was to teleport back over to Calidor and get my rover, pack it up, and take it back to Silva. So that's done. I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the series, but in the meantime, this is beautiful, even if the solar system's not rotating behind me. But until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.